For the ones who don't know her, I'm just going to quickly introduce you to her. I'm going to ask you a question and I want you guys to try to answer. What's the thing that's common between Rani Mukherjee, Kangana Ranaut, Pariniti Chopra, the CNBC office, Pepper Fry, Bar Stock Exchange, Social, and if I go on, the list won't end. And what's the one thing that's common amongst all of these things, all of these people and all of these places? That person is the person whom we are going to be talking to today. She is rated by LAD50 and many others as one of the most prominent interior designers of our time, and somebody who's the founder of Orange Lane and Peacock Live. Today to talk about the field of design, and she's promised me that she's going to design the next I.I.M.U.N office for free. That's the reason we've got her. That's the real reason we've got her. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your virtual hands together for none other than Shabnam Gupta. Thank you very much, Shabnam, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
And like I said, the two things I can't fix is technology and my hair. So many apologies on the delayed starts. And also we have, talking about young women who are pioneering their way through in different fields, we have Soumya Agarwal, who is co-founder of Rishabh University, Sahil's better half in every way, and somebody who studied in one of the fancy universities in Paris, knows a lot about design, and therefore Sahil sends her here today. Soumya, it's always very nice to see you, and you must tell Sahil never to come back on the show and just to leave you here.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rishabh. Namaste, Shabnam ji. Excited to have this conversation with you.
Same here.
So let me get straight to it. How did you, Shabnam, how did you know that you wanted to be an interior designer? There are lots of students out here who are confused. Should we be pursuing the field of design? Should we do something else? The series is called Classroom to Career, where we help them make career choices. The caveat that there is as long as they don't ask me what my career is, we help them make their career choices. So, but tell me, how did you decide and how did you stumble upon the field of interior design?
So honestly, I got those focused students who knew what I wanted to do with my life. I think it chose me and not the other way. But what was that surrounding myself with things of I had my teens, I think I chose whether it was dressing or whether it was, buying stuff, or my choices were a little unconventional, let me put it. And that, I mean, I was lucky I got into interiors and never looked back after that.
And you never looked back after that. And of course, as they say, the rest is history. But let me then ask you this question, saying that is design something that you can learn, or does it come naturally to you? Because some of the greatest creative artists, like say for example a Van Gogh, or in interior design, a Vincent Wolf, all of these people are self-taught. They don't have formal training, so to say. So, Shabnam, how important is formal training, and is it something that comes naturally to you, or can you learn it by design?
So there are a couple of answers to this question. Yes, it comes naturally to me personally, but having said that does not mean that you can learn design. In fact, I would like to think that most people, even me included, there's only that much you can learn theoretically, but till you don't get your hands dirty and go out there, there's that much you can learn. So I think at the end of it, whatever you learn in college also, finally it's going out there, understanding, learning with contractors, learning with vendors, learning on site, and that's really your true teacher.
So learning on the job is more important than learning from the textbook, is what you're trying to say? In
design, yes. I think in design you need to develop your own language, and not applies to everybody. So yes, theory is important today. Learning software skills are important, but fortunately my work is about cement, raw materials, imaginations running wild, and sky is the limit of what we create. So yes, it's not by the completely.
Super. And one thing that I must ask you, because I feel that in India we are in a time and a space where the Anglicization of everything is ending, the Indianization of everything is beginning. We are rediscovering our past. Not to say that we have not rediscovered our past in the recent past, but I do feel, and as somebody in the last 15, 20 years, whether it be in the political space, in the socio-cultural space, in every way, somehow we are getting back to our roots. This is a strong sense across the country. When it comes to the field of design, is this also true? Is there much change in the recent past, or do you think that we've always been in touch with our Indic roots?
No, I think people have become far more India proud, whether it's about made in India, whether it's about the heritage we have or the crafts that have been lost over the years. I think it's applying in every field currently. I think the younger generation is far more proud and aware and conscious about getting India on the world map, and they are using crafts to create new design languages which are going to be relevant today, which probably weren't earlier. For me, I've always been a crusader for Indian design. That does not mean that happens throughout our fraternity. There was this phase of minimalist design and contemporary, so which will always remain. I think you have different kinds of tastes and different, but having that, I think the India proud wave is happening. Like
the being proud about India, that they are very proud that young people are now increasingly patriotic, is something that's coming across. Whether patriotism is different from nationalism is not a conversation for design. So I'm glad we're not going to have that one. But what I'm going to ask, but what I'm very happy to know, and this is why from the plethora of interior designers that the young team curated, I think they reached out to you first, and I'm so glad that you obliged, because you believe in Indic design not because it's a popular phenomenon, but it's something that in a sense is something that should exist. Can you tell us a little more about the fact that how Indic design is very different when it comes to interior design? How is it very different from, say, the minimalist design that you find in Japanese homes?
So firstly, I think Indian culture is about color. India as a culture is about textures. We are very diverse in the kind of craft arts that different states within the same have. And over the years, a lot of that got lost, and people were using Indian craft and art within their work simply because that language was not reinterpreted with time. And people either had ethnic traditional homes or they went to the modern. But the reality is that there's a lot of fusion happening, like the world is small overall, not only with design. And what design is that you have a very contemporary home and you can have a beautiful art of a textile art from Rajasthan, or you can have a powder wash which has been done up very formally in an stone, but walls can be filled with take work or work which is completely not modern, but you're giving it a new language and a new twist, and kind of taking that craft and showcasing it in a contemporary home. So I think from that sense, become very open-minded. People want a bit of that India even in a contemporary home, and that new language is,
they want a bit of India even in their homes, and which is what it should be. I'm not saying that every American proudly puts a flag outside their house and says that we are patriots. I say why not? It's time for India, and not in the way that India is going to be the superpower, but in the way that India is going to be the nation that can actually unite the world. And design has such a strong role to play, because people relate with visuals much more than conversation. Especially when you have me in the conversation, they'd love to see the visuals that are right behind Shabnam. But Soumya, let me take it to you and ask you this question. You're building a fantastic university that is, and for all those who just joined in, the idea, and even for Shabnam, the idea is that they want to make it the Takshashila again. They want to recreate and make it the Indic school of thought. But tell me, when it comes to design, Soumya, how are you going to do this? When it comes to the school of design, how are you going to bring this about?
Right. Thank you, Rishabh. Yes, so this is definitely one big challenge as well as an opportunity for Rishihood to amalgamate modern and Western view of looking at design along with the Indian view of thinking. There are three things I think which we are broadly looking at. One of that is definitely having spiritual, holistic, self-aware as a foundation to our existence. As a building pillar of our foundation. No matter if it's about the curriculum, if it's about the culture, or it's just the way we operate. That's how we look at everything. And I'm sure Shabnam ji will also agree with me that the creativity comes from within. You can definitely teach certain skills, but how do you look at things? The creative outlook, the creative approach comes from within. And if you don't have that cluttered mind, if you don't have that or if we have that sorted mind or the clear vision, it sort of helps us to be more creative. So that's definitely one aspect that we cover. Secondly, the whole aspect of taking everybody together. It's very core to Indian thought. It's just not individuals, but also the entire nature. And how do we, in whatever we are doing, how do we ensure that we are not harming anything? Instead, we are treating them as a representative of something super or something bigger than us. So that's again a core of the design element. Sustainability. We have a very unique course on using biomimicry as a design thinking tool. So how do you learn from nature whenever you're creating or defining a product, and think beyond the material or transactional perspective. So that's third. And fourth, for sure, like the references, the books, the topics, the type of projects that are given to the students. All of them have a very core Indic elements in it. We have tried our best to bring together the Western outlook with the Indian approach. How do we bring the present, the future, the past, everything together in the right mix and pass it on to the students. Yeah.
Super. So basically, how do you bring the best elements of India into design? That's a conversation that requires a separate conversation in itself. That how do you bring India out through design? And I think that at some point we should request Shabnam to also throw light on. But let me also ask you this whilst I have you with me. There are a lot of people who are confused about what to study in design, whether they should do interior design, what are the different career opportunities that one has after studying the field of design. So first I'll come to Shabnam and then I'll probably come to Soumya. And if both of you can throw light on what are the career prospects for those who are, because after all the series is called Classroom to Career. Most of the times when we study in the classroom, we never are able to implement in the career. So which is why, what are the different career prospects, Shabnam, that one would have post studying design?
Yeah, okay. So even within design, there are so many layers. Like, for example, if suppose you talk about someone who's graduated from interior design, you could become a stylist. You could become an interior designer. You could take up interior or architectural photography. You could get into soft furnishings. You could get into wallpaper and wall covering designs. So there are so many spin-offs from that one line of work, which all keep coming back to that same line, but they specialize in so many different aspects. So I think design itself is so unlimited that you can go into whatever is more passion driven and what it is that has excited or tickled you creatively.
Super. No, it's more passion driven. But Soumya, this is great. But to the parents who are going to listen to this conversation, they're going to be like, this is great. Passion achhi cheez hai. But not everybody becomes Shabnam Gupta. Not everybody is going to essentially make it big per se. Design is anyway a niche field, but more and more people are getting interested in this in tier 2, 3, 4 cities. But parents are not very supportive. It's not the hard sciences. It's not an entrepreneurial mindset. it's a creative field. So,
Yeah.
so what would you do, Soumya, to allay the fears of parents जो बोलेंगे हर कोई थोड़ी शबनम बनता है, हम हर कोई थोड़ी शबनम जी बनते हैं. It's an anomaly. So, what would you tell them?
I think creativity should be an undercurrent of everything that we're studying, because you know, when we have Alexas and when we have so many things, so many machines around us, a lot of mechanical work will be done by robots. But it's very difficult to have creativity embedded in a machine. It has to come from an individual who's regularly thinking, regularly creating something, regularly exploring itself to new things. So I think it should not be just a subject, but it should be taught as a part of each and every curriculum. It's just everybody has to be creative now. That's what I think. And unless you're not creative, it will be difficult for you to survive in the way technology is now building up, and you know, machines are taking care of so many things. So that's one. Second, and that's what I will tell the parents: कि बिना creativity के नहीं होगा boss. वो it's difficult to survive in the way job sector is now changing. When I talk about the shoot, obviously we have a very small batch, but we had few students graduated this year, doing M design. So these are there are broadly 3 areas that our students have got into. One is one of them has started their own venture of sculpture. So she specialized in sculpture designing here, and she started her own thing. And we obviously have a school of entrepreneurship. So she did some courses at School of Entrepreneurship along with School of Creativity, and she got both the skills in hand, and she's now doing her own venture. There are students who are working in startups doing UI and UX design. Again, they came in for something else. There was this broad spectrum of subjects that we showed them, and then they picked up like the one that they felt most related to. So yeah, so there are multiple opportunities. Again, on the fact that what are the type of careers, I'll say with the way the entire OTT, the entire advertisements, the entire branding is now picking up, creativity is definitely going to be the next data science as a subject. You know, it's going to be very, or a software engineer type of a course. Like everybody wanted to become a software engineer. In some years, everybody would want to have done design. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of.
No, like Einstein, you know, like how Albert Einstein said it. You said it just like that, but of course you elongated the answer so that simple mortals like us could understand. But he said it beautifully, where he said creativity is intelligence having fun, and at the end of the day, all intelligent people, or those who aspire to be intelligent, should and must be creative. It's something that works hand in hand. And to that end, because we have a very intelligent, creative person with us, let me ask her this. There are a lot of 16-year-olds, Shabnam, who are watching this. These 16-year-olds are much like how you would have been when you were 16, but you had clarity of thought, as I've read extensively about you, and I know that, you know, you, from the time you were 15 or 16, you knew mujhe design karna hai. But for the people who are confused, saying, design pasand hai, but चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी भी पसंद है, पर मुझे डॉक्टर भी बनना है और मुझे एस्ट्रोनॉट भी बनना है, एंड दिस इज द कॉमन conundrum that a 15 or a 14-year-old has. How do they solve that conundrum?
Well, I don't know how to answer that question, but I do know that when your work is something that you love, and your work is passion driven, it's not a job. And I see 90% of the people who I talk to, whether it's my age group or a slightly younger age group, everyone hates their job. Everyone feels that they are stuck in a rut. Everyone feels that, oh my God, 30 more years of how am I going to go through, you know, a 9-to-5 job. So I think it's extremely important even for parents to understand, and even being practical, that today design is not a niche field. Today design is not a field which is, you know, very few people want to get their homes done, or very few people it's a very big world out there. People's mindsets have changed. People have realized everyone wants a nice looking space. Everyone might not be able to have a luxurious space, but design can extend into so many more spin-offs as careers. So I think you should finally do what your happy doing, what you're passionate about, and money will come. Stability will come. But if you choose something only for money or only for stability, you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life. I am not one of those who endorses that. I think each of us come with our own destiny, and you should finally be happy in life in what you're doing.
It's very true. It's all about being happy in life. At the end of the day, the zeros will come, the zeros will go, and hopefully the zeros will stay. But the important thing is to find the happiness within, and that's very true. But Shabnam, you mentioned something very interesting. You said that there are so many opportunities with design, and it's not a niche field anymore. Everyone wants a good space. Everybody wants good aesthetics. Even we want a good frame, but we could get this. But the idea is, Soumya, you should send a better frame next time. But Shabnam, what you mentioned is so very true. And to the ones who are confused as well, I have one small piece of advice. Till you find your passion and you find your calling, there's this small organization that's called I.I.M.U.N, which you can join, and we will help you find your passion and calling. But I only did that because they say, Rishabh, every time you talk about the guests, what they are doing, you talk about Rishi University, but you forget that this is an I.I.M.U.N show. And I'm like, okay, this time I'll speak about I.I.M.U.N. But let me wrap up with a quick rapid fire. It's starting on 7th of July, and it's a free plug-in again for a good friend and a mentor to both me and the organization. I have a coffee cup, but no hamper. So I'm going to start by simply asking you and the following questions. Whatever comes to your mind first, the first word. When I say the following words, if you can let me know. So what's the first word that comes to your mind when I say design, Shabnam? When I say design, what's the thought that comes?
Love.
When I say classroom, Soumya, what's the first thought that comes?
Learning.
When I say career, Shabnam, what's the first thought?
Unlimited.
Bharat, Soumya?
Colors.
Colors. When I say youth, what comes to mind?
Exuberance.
Exuberance.
Yes, energy, exuberance, yes.
And when I say I.I.M.U.N, Shabnam, what comes to mind? This is your first experience with us. What's the first thought that comes to your mind?
So my older son has been part of MUN. So actually what first comes to mind is him. He has represented India also in the MUNs in Singapore and stuff. So yes, that's actually what comes. And it's a great platform, I must say that. It's it's a platform that I've seen so many young kids gain confidence and putting themselves out there and learning. So I think it's really something that's required and a need of the hour. And you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Amba. I was beginning to hide when he's gone to Singapore, he left his studies, he doesn't know what he's doing, and then I was like, okay, bye.
Not at all. You're talking to somebody who really believes that people should fly, people should take their own journey and not be bogged down with conventional learning. So not at all.
I'm glad, and that's the reason why we got you, so that you would say all these nice things at the very end. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure being able to chat with you, Shabnam, and so also with you, Soumya. It's very nice, and let me tell you this, I have had a lot of conversations. Soumya has been a part of a lot of conversations. We had one with Amish Tripathi, we had one with Salim Merchant, J. Sai Deepak, of course, was an animated one. But let me tell you, from all the conversations that we've had, Shabnam, this feels like me sitting in a drawing room and talking to somebody about the field of design. It was a very easy-going conversation, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And Soumya has not smiled so much in any of the conversations. So yes. I can say.
Thank you so much. I mean, it was lovely, and I'm always very, very, very happy to be there where there are, the youngsters involved, and they are searching for answers, and such platforms are helping them do that. So I'm very happy to be part of this. Thanks so much, Rishabh. Soumya.
No, and thank you very much. And don't forget your promise.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a promise as well. We look forward to. I also want to take a promise from Shabnam to coming to the campus and interacting with the students someday.
Yes. No, we will connect. We will connect for sure on this. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a wonderful lady, and thank you very much for the first colloquy, first engagement with you. But really enjoyed it. Please, give all the love and regards to your son, who I'm sure is going to do incredibly well. And look forward to seeing you super soon. And once again, Soumya, thank you for always being the better representative from Rishabh University.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.